So this is the pivot editor tutorial of the FBX editor asset. In the last episode, we covered the mesh extraction, where we took this group of 5 helmets and extracted the singular helmet. Now, one of the issues is that when you're dealing with mesh editing, usually the pivot that Unity automatically assigns is never going to be the one that you really want. So for example, I think part of the problem was that this asset, the original pivot for these 6 helmets, was all the way down here, which doesn't make a lot of sense. And so the extracted helmet, the automatically assigned pivot, doesn't really make a lot of sense. So why don't we hop into the FBX editor and fix this? Let's go to Tools, FBX editor, take our new helmet, and then we'll go to the pivot editor. Now, the pivot editor will tell you which object you're selecting, and you can only select one object at a time. Now, we have a couple of preset options. We can set it to the center, and this will just set it to the center, exactly. 3D, X, Y, Z, axes. We can set it to the bottom center, which is just the center, except it takes, it puts it to the bottommost vertices of your mesh. And then we can also restore the original pivot. Like that. So why don't we set it to the bottom center. Let's save a copy. Let's just overwrite the original. Save. Exit out. And then you can see the actual FBX will take on that pivot. Next, let's put our edited helmet back. And then we have this option for a custom pivot. So basically, let's click this. And what this will do is it'll create a custom pivot handle within the hierarchy. Let's remove this, is not part of it. So this will create an empty game object. And wherever you move this, however you rotate it, will determine your object's pivot. So let's say I do something crazy like this. I have this crazy pivot for this helmet. What I want to do next is select the original object after I move the pivot, and then apply the custom pivot handle. And now you can see our helmet will take on this custom pivot. And if I override the original or save a copy, exit this out, you can see the helmet will actually take on this custom pivot. And of note, the actual FBX will take on the pivot, not just a prefab. So that's more or less the functionalities of the pivot editor. The next tutorial, we will go over texture assignment.